Welcome to today's episode of Journey to Success. I'm Emily Carter, and we're thrilled to have an extraordinary guest with us today, Sarah Johnson, a renowned success coach, inspirational speaker, and someone who's empowered thousands of people worldwide to make remarkable strides in their lives and careers. Sarah, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Emily. I'm genuinely excited to be here and share my passion for a topic that's so close to my heart.
Wonderful. Today, we're diving into a subject that resonates with everyone: setting goals and achieving success. Sarah, could you kick things off by explaining why this topic is so vital?
Absolutely, Emily. Setting goals is the cornerstone of any meaningful achievement. Without a clear destination, it's easy to wander aimlessly through life. A goal acts like a lighthouse, guiding you through the storms and uncertainties. But it's not just about setting goals. It's about taking deliberate action to turn them into reality. I recall when I first started my career, I was a junior marketing associate in a small Chicago office, feeling unmoored and directionless. One evening I sat down and asked myself, what do I truly want in the next decade? That's when I set my first big goal: to become a professional speaker who inspires others. I drew inspiration from Oprah Winfrey, who overcame immense challenges to become a global media icon. Oprah once said, "You become what you believe." Those words ignited something in me, pushing me to define my goals with clarity and pursue them relentlessly.
That's incredibly powerful. You mentioned defining goals with clarity. Is that the starting point for everyone? And could you share more about how you transformed your dream of becoming a speaker into reality?
Yes, Emily, the very first step is to articulate your goal and put it on paper. Writing it down forces you to crystallize your thoughts and commit to the journey. But a truly effective goal needs to be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For instance, instead of saying, "I want to be successful," say, "I aim to deliver a keynote speech to 1,000 people at a major conference by the end of 2026 by enrolling in public speaking courses and building my personal brand." When I set my goal to become a speaker, I wrote, "Within 3 years, I will speak at a national conference with at least 800 attendees." I broke it down into actionable steps: joining Toastmasters to hone my speaking skills, launching a YouTube channel to share my ideas, and reaching out to event organizers. I was inspired by Tony Robbins, the world-renowned motivational speaker who started with small workshops before captivating millions. My first speaking gig was in front of just 15 people at a local event, and I was so nervous I dropped the microphone. But those early moments shaped me. By year 3, I stood on a stage addressing over 1,000 people, and the feeling was indescribable. The key is to break your goal into manageable pieces, take daily action, and learn from those who've paved the way.
Wow, your story is so inspiring. I love how you drew from Tony Robbins' journey. But I'm sure it wasn't always smooth sailing, right? Have you faced significant obstacles while pursuing your goals, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, Emily, the obstacles were countless. No path to success is without its hurdles. One of the toughest challenges came when I decided to leave my marketing job to focus full-time on speaking. I had almost no steady income, and my friends and family were understandably worried I was taking too big a risk. There were nights I lay awake questioning, am I on the right path? What kept me going was a vivid vision of my goal. I took a page from Elon Musk's playbook. Musk faced relentless skepticism while building Tesla and SpaceX, yet he persevered because he believed in his mission. I adopted a similar mindset. I pinned my goal to the bathroom mirror, reading it every morning to remind myself why I started. I also sought out mentors, seasoned speakers who shared their wisdom and experience. Here's a specific example. Early on, I sent over 50 emails to event organizers, only to receive 2 responses, both rejections. Instead of giving up, I refined my approach. I recorded my speeches, asked colleagues for feedback, and polished every detail. Eventually, an organizer in Seattle gave me a shot to speak to 100 people. That opportunity opened doors to bigger stages. Challenges taught me that setbacks are just lessons in disguise, and you have to keep moving forward.
It's remarkable how you turned obstacles into stepping stones. What advice would you offer to listeners who feel discouraged by setbacks?
Great question, Emily. When motivation wanes, reconnect with your why. Ask yourself, Why does this goal matter to me? I think of J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. Before her success, she faced 12 rejections from publishers, lived in poverty, and raised a child alone. Yet she persisted because she believed in her story. Whenever I feel disheartened, I remind myself of Rowling's journey and think, if she could do it, so can I. I also recommend building a support system. I'm fortunate to have close friends who lift me up when self-doubt creeps in. Another tip is to celebrate small victories. When you achieve a minor milestone, reward yourself, maybe with a nice dinner or a movie night. For me, after every speech, I treat myself to my favorite latte. Those moments recharge your enthusiasm for the long haul.
I absolutely love the idea of celebrating small wins. It makes the journey so much more enjoyable. Sarah, here's another question. How can someone know if their goal is the right one? Have you ever set a goal only to realize it wasn't the best fit?
That's a fantastic question, Emily. Not every goal we set aligns with who we are, and I've experienced that firsthand. A few years ago, I aimed to earn $1 million in a single year, thinking it would define my success. But when I hit a fraction of that number, I felt oddly unfulfilled. I realized the goal was driven by societal expectations rather than my core values. To ensure a goal is right for you, check if it aligns with your core values and long-term vision. I learned this from Brené Brown, the celebrated researcher on courage and vulnerability. Brown emphasizes that your goals should reflect what brings you meaning. I often suggest this exercise. Write down the 3 things that matter most to you, maybe family, creativity, or making a difference. Then, see if your goal serves those priorities. For example, I once coached a client named Michael, a banker who aimed to become a CEO because he thought it was the ultimate career pinnacle. But as we dug deeper, he discovered his true passion was teaching and inspiring others. Michael shifted his goal to become a financial educator, and he's now thriving in a role that lights him up. So listen to your heart. It often knows what's right.
That's such an important reminder. I think many of us chase goals society deems successful instead of what truly fulfills us. Sarah, could you share more about staying motivated over the long term, especially for goals that take years to achieve?
Sustaining motivation over years is no small feat, but it's absolutely doable with the right strategies. First, break your big goal into smaller milestones. I draw inspiration from Serena Williams, the tennis legend. Serena didn't focus on winning Grand Slams from day one. She honed her craft match by match, shot by shot. Similarly, when preparing for major keynotes, I set daily goals like perfecting one section of my speech. Second, build habits that support your goal. I start each morning with 15 minutes of reading personal development books. Atomic Habits by James Clear is a favorite. This small habit keeps my mindset sharp. Third, regularly review your progress. Every month, I sit down to assess my goals, asking, how far have I come? What needs tweaking? For instance, while preparing for an international conference, I realized my initial presentation didn't resonate with a diverse audience. I invested extra time researching and revamped the entire speech. That pivot made all the difference. Finally, keep inspiration flowing. I watch interviews with figures like Michelle Obama, whose resilience and authenticity remind me of the power of perseverance.
These strategies are so practical. I especially admire how you draw from icons like Serena Williams and Michelle Obama. Sarah, as we wrap up, what final advice would you share with listeners just starting their goal-setting journey?
My biggest advice is this. Start today, no matter how small the step. You don't need all the answers up front. I think of Jeff Bezos, who launched Amazon from a modest garage. He didn't foresee it becoming a global giant. He just began by selling books online. When I started, I had no clue how far I'd go. I only knew I wanted to uplift others, and each tiny step brought me here. One last story to illustrate. I coached a client named Laura, a single mom who dreamed of becoming an interior designer. She thought it was too late, but I encouraged her to start with an online course. 3 years later, Laura launched her own design firm and now works with high-profile clients. If Laura could do it, so can you. Take action, trust yourself, and never give up.
What a beautiful story to close with. Sarah, thank you so much for sharing your invaluable insights and inspiring stories. I know our listeners are leaving this episode with a wealth of wisdom.
Thank you, Emily, and to all the listeners for tuning in. I hope you feel empowered to embark on your own journey.
And that's a wrap for today's episode. Be sure to follow Journey to Success for more inspiring stories and practical advice. We'll see you next time.